In this tutorial, we're going to be using Slicer to import a 3D model and turn it into a rotary project. Now just go ahead and click on Slicer, load STL. I'm going to be using a Napoleon bust here, so we'll just open that up. Once that file opens up, it's going to put you into your scaling pane. So here we can scale it. You can see this is coming in with the units of millimeters. We're set to work in inches. You do have your control cube here that you can reorient with. If you'll notice, y-axis points up, and there is the arrow which indicates that's the y-axis. We can reorient our model and look at what our scale is. Now I'm going to be using this bust as a corbel, and I want it to be about 3 1/4 inches wide. So we've got this extra part here. I can't tell exactly what that is, so I'm just going to go ahead and hit next and bring that into our slicing. Here you see we have over here underneath our slice, we have the cut style, we have slice, which will actually make it into a slice, which is essentially a pattern. Or we have bisect. Bisect is going to allow us just to chop the model any way we want. So I'm going to go ahead and click to 90 on our tilt plane here. Now if I tilt here, you'll notice along with our y-axis yellow arrow, we now have another axis, and that is our spin direction. So that shows where our spin angle is. So I can go down to our spin slicing plane, and you'll see that that moves around. So I'm going to go ahead and shift that over here. And like I said, I'm going to be using this for a corbel, so now I can adjust my depth. And I want it just basically just beyond the ears there. And let's go ahead and slice that. Okay, now I've got this piece here. I'm going to click back to bisect again, and I'm going to go ahead and move that all the way out. And from there I can see, that gives me a depth here. I can see I'm 3 1/4 that direction. I'm going to go ahead and shift this way and then put that back. And you can see that I'm only about 3 inches wide. I really want that to be about 3 1/4. So I'm just going to go ahead and hit back. And then on my Z, I'm going to go ahead and change that to 4. Now notice right here we have the chains. This is red, indicating all 3 of these are linked together. So when I change one dimension, it's going to change them all. Now because I did make slices, it's letting me know that if I change this, it's going to revert my model all the way back to the original model. And we say okay with that. So again, I'm going to reorient, just makes it easier for me to visualize. And we can go ahead and go on in. And let's snap that to the 45 again. Let's change our spin angle to 90. Let's go to bisect. And again, we're going to move that so it's just beyond his ear. And we go ahead and hit slice. And let's go ahead and square that back up. And since we're making it smaller, I don't even need to go to bisect. I can look and see that, yeah, we're about 3 1/4 here. So that's about what I needed for this model here. Now let's go ahead next to the slice. You can see the cylinder here. If I click on that, that's going to create a 4-inch diameter cylinder representation. So that's based upon the rotary capacity. Now here let's go ahead and shift 90, so I've got my spin plane lined up with his nose. I can still tilt my model in this here, so we can tilt that in a little bit here, line that up. Basically I want to kind of minimize the diameter that I have to carve here, because that's going to minimize the time it takes to carve, obviously. less material gets wasted. So I'm going to kind of want to center that up a bit. Yeah, it's looking pretty decent. I'll have my support coming up through the top of his head to the bottom there. So now I might point out that you can also have part of the model come out of the of that volume. Now if you go ahead and tell it to export, when it's there you're going to get this warning, which is going to tell you how much of this. Now you can choose to ignore that and go ahead and clip that. And sometimes that's actually rather useful. You can clip off, say I didn't want these leaves up here on this laurel. You just clip those off. Of course in this case we're going to cancel that. And we're going to bring that back into where she's pretty much centered up. Now a couple things to note when we're actually going to center it up or find the minimum diameter. Up here in the right hand corner you have an indicator of the minimum diameter. So as I move this around, I can actually see what is going to be my minimum here. And I know I'm actually right in the center then. Now sometimes that's what you want, sometimes it's not, but it's a useful tool to help kind of say, okay, I'm centered up on this, that's where I want to be. The other thing to keep in mind is the undercuts. Just as with the planer, the undercuts where the bit will not be able to get to, those will show up in blue. And you do need to kind of zoom in to see through the green, but you can see them. So obviously, the top of his head, there's going to be parts that you're not be able to get to, or the back of the laurel here. The other thing that's very important to know when you're dealing with a rotary is that the direction that this spin indicator, that is the middle. So I want that facing forward. The seam will be on the back of his head then. So I want, of course, his face to look good when I do that. So I've got that centered up. We can go ahead and export that. Now I go ahead and I click the export button and it appears like nothing has happened, but actually because we've made a slice here, it's gone ahead and put that into a rotary project, created that in Designer. Now I can still continue to work in Sculptor if I wanted. I can switch back to the planer mode and I can go and slice up sections. Say if I wanted to get the base piece, wanted to make it, I can go ahead and still work on it and then output that using the next function. In this case we just wanted the rotary which we made, so we just cancel out of this and it's going to put me into where you see I have my rotary modeled here. So here we have it, and you can see over here basically what it does is it takes and creates a flat model that is wrapped around a 4-inch cylinder. If we go and look at our board setup, you'll see the 4 1/4, actually, sorry, the maximum diameter. So it just defaults to that. Now I can change the dimensions of my board, not the diameter, but I can certainly make it a longer board if I want. You do have to hit apply, and I can go ahead and click to the front face here. Let's drop a rectangle, and I'm going to drop that rectangle across everything here. Okay, carving, let's make that a region, and then let's go ahead and drop it to say 1.9. Okay, and we do want to make sure that crosses the edges or you will have an artifact remaining. So now I went ahead, because this has got this here, it's throwing a little bit of an artifact back here. This actually won't appear in our carving. And I can go ahead and shift this down. We actually are probably going to want a little more support than that. The reason I made this longer is I wanted to drive home the point that this is essentially just a model. So I can hit Control C, Control V, I can make copies of it, I can move it around, I can do anything I want with it. If I wanted to, say, make 3 different busts of 3 different people, I can, Control C, Control V, plop them all onto the same thing, and then carve that out. Now, it's important to note whenever we come in from Slicer, it's always going to come in as an ABC machine. If we want to do this for a Raven, we do need to convert this to Raven. When we go to compile one of these models, it's going to actually tell me what my minimum diameter is here. So I don't have to load a 4 1/4. I can load a much smaller board, so if I've got a 4-inch diameter piece, I can do that, or I can prep a 4-inch diameter, which certainly is going to cut down your carve time. Whatever you do, don't lie about what diameter you're doing here, because it's just going to result in overstressing or breaking a bit. And that's how we import a STL file into a Rotary project.